Hi gorgeous, my name is Amanda and I'm back again with a new video. This week I'm doing something different and basically it'll be me telling a true crime story while I'm doing my makeup. So basically I just thought that ordinary YouTube videos where someone tells you what they're doing and how they do it and how they achieve their look is just like it's done. Like there's so much of it that I wanted something different with my channel, and this is going to be it. Of course I'll still be doing ordinary tutorials once in a while. Maybe I'll just interchange every week. It'll be one week is true crime, the next week is ordinary tutorials, just to have something different with my channel. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I love true crime, which is why that is what I chose to bring to my channel. So I'm just bringing two things that I love: makeup and true crime. And yeah, also I was thinking of naming it Beauty and the Beast, and the beauty will be obviously loco just so mina and me doing my makeup, and then the beast will definitely be probably the murderer or whatever, like the criminal aspect of the story will be. So yeah, I hope you like it and let's get to it. Okay, so today's story this week is going to be, you are actually like, I've never tried like while I'm doing my makeup. So guys, please try and bear with me. Maybe like I might like pause while I'm doing something and then like ngiqhubeke, but like ngizoqhubeka. This is something new to me. Even though I'm always watching it on YouTube, it's like since I've never tried it, it's like, yo, no. How do people just do their brows? Bekhuluma. Like bekhuluma kakhulu futhi. Into engaphathelene. Hayi. I haven't even done much of my brows and already I just feel like, yo, hi. Okay, anyway, today's story is going to be the story of the Black Widow, Muraro Sibito. So, disclaimer, I don't mean to disrespect anybody, and obviously because in papile I might like say something that I'm not aware could be offensive, and I'm sorry for that in advance. And as well, this story is about Venda people and Wumzulu, so I might mispronounce something or like butcher the pronunciation, but in my defense, I sent like a message in my school group chat. I sent a message being like, if anybody knows how to pronounce these, Linux and VN. So if I somehow like pronounce something wrong, just know that I had help with this and now they are at fault. If I pronounce something wrong, because I tried. But yeah, I think for the most part, I'm pronouncing things accurately. So let's carry on. So the Black Widow, Muraro Sibito. Hey. But yeah, she was born in a village in Limpopo called Halubimbi in Sohoyandu. Yeah, so she was born there. Her dad was a priest, and her parents were just very well respected in the community. So much so that like the community went to them for advice. I think it's like a tight knit community, vele, where you'd like go to umakilwane wako or something like for help on something and all of that. Yeah, so they literally go to her parents for advice, and yeah, she's married to Avatakali Netiaulu. Avatakali Netiaulu is a very accomplished man. Yay. Very educated. He was born in a village in Limpopo as well, but it's a different one. It's called Matangari. I have notes. Yeah, it's called Matangari. So he grew up in that village with his parents as well. And his dad was actually an editor for News 24, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And he's a chartered accountant. He's ufundile, like ufundile. So he worked in Rand Merchant Bank here in South Africa, and then went on to work in Anglo Platinum in the UK. So on December 7, 2006, Abatakali was found. He was found burnt in his car, and he was found in the boot of his car, and he was burnt, like charred. Yeah, to a point of what's the word? Unrecognition. Like bese ngabonakala ukuthi like uyena yabo. So and now I'm just gonna explain how it led to him being found there in Muraro's what's the word, in her perspective. But in order for her perspective to make sense, I'm just gonna tell you about this man called Ntabutseni. What's his surname? Whatever. His name is Ntabutseni. Ntabutseni grew up in the same village with Abatakali. So they grew up together, and even though they grew up together, they hadn't seen each other in a long time until September 2006 when he introduced Muraro to when Abatakali introduced Muraro to Ntabutseni. So they got introduced to each other, and then Abatakali actually had been in connection with Ntabutseni because he had wanted Ntabutseni to look for a place for him to be able to start his public phone business in, right? Okay, so since that September 2006, they were talking. Muraro and Ntabutseni had started talking privately. Yeah, well, I guess they exchanged phone numbers or whatever. Yeah, and then they had started talking since then. Fine. So according to Muraro, what had happened was Ntabutseni contacted Muraro and basically wanted to conspire to kill Abatakali. And according to Muraro, she said no. She denied his request, and then apparently when December 7 came, Abatakali had left the house and had texted Muraro and said, I'm being hijacked. Thing is, articles say different things. So one article, like a few, keep saying that he said that he was being hijacked, and other articles say that he claimed he was being followed by 2 cars. Right? Okay. So when Muraro got that message, she also got a message from Ntabutseni saying everything is ready now. So in saying everything is ready now, I guess Muraro figured Uzi that means that he's basically like ready to kill Abatakal. So she called the police. And started searching for Abatakali to make sure that he's safe, because obviously he had said he feels unsafe. Whichever text is true, I'm being followed by 2 cars, or I'm being hijacked. So bahambe bempega, and they find him at a garage. And his car is in flames. So they used firefighters found him in the boot, and they used DNA testing to obviously confirm that it's him. And then a few days later actually, Ntabutseni and a man called Arnold Selo were taken into custody. Once they've been taken into custody, so I'm gonna start with what Ntabutseni said. Ntabutseni said something completely different than this girl Muraro. He said something completely different. He's like I got a call from Muraro after being introduced to each other by Abatakali, and they met at a spa on a Saturday, and while feeling a text, I figure basala panty, and then I need help. I want to kill my husband, and I need you to help me. And Ntabutseni was like, why would you want to kill your husband? And apparently she said, he has a lot of money and I want it. And they've only been married for 6 months, you guys. So it's like, what do you mean? Yeah, so apparently they were married out of community of property. So obviously if they had divorced, it wasn't gonna be her money. But it's like, like hlala phela emshadweni, you know. But okay, fine. That's what she says. And then Tabuzeni claims that he denied helping her and she persisted. She persisted, and apparently persistence yake is offering 4,000 rand, and after offering 4,000 rand, he agreed. 4,000 rand, it was 2006, you guys. Like, 4,000 rand was not much. 4,000 rand, mina would never. Let's not even look at it as a good Tabuzeni actually grew up with Abatakal. You should tell me guys. 4,000 rand to kill somebody. No ways. No ways. Ha! Nobody's life is worth 4K. Let's look at it from Umuraro. Like, your husband, his life is worth 4,000 rand. That's how much you could offer. 4,000 rand. No. And like, it's me digging this. 4,000 rand. Like, that's enough. And you're like, yeah, sissy, on. No. So basically, they just agreed there. And then after she was like, yeah, 4,000 rand. And they agreed, and they were like, they're gonna, he's gonna like, uzohlanganisa inkab. And Moraro also said she's gonna get her own hitman, right? Okay. And then the next time they meet is on the 7th of December, D-Day, right? They meet up at Caltaxi somewhere, and she's driving his car. She's driving Imodia Abatakal. She gets there, she drops off. So this is according to Untabuteni, right? She gets there, she drops off in Kabizaka Tuna, and she leaves, and she's like, you guys, so he's gonna come back in this car. Abatakal, he's gonna come back in this car, and then that's when you guys are gonna get him. Ahambe Ashimoto, and then Abatakali leaves. So Mina, I thought that maybe he was leaving because Vele he was straight going to meet up with Untabuteni since they were working together. But nothing clarifies that actually nothing actually clarifies that. So he left, and then that's when the text messages happened, which we know from Isai de la Muraro. So after he left, and then that's when they got him, right? Okay. And then what happened, which Umuraro doesn't admit to, the search starts. Once the search starts for Abatakali, when he had sent that text, Umuraro apparently actually this is facts, her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law were at home. So they got into the car and started looking for Abatakali with the cops, basically. They started looking for him themselves as well, and she just led them to the garage. Like, you act like you're looking for something, but like, you know where it is, you know. So she's just like, basically, I got to now, but on the garage, and they got there, and she got out the car and started screaming, my husband is in the booth, please take my husband out of the booth. The car was in flames, you guys. The car was in flames, and apparently it was like Brensu being unidentifiable. So how did she know it was his car? How do you know it's his car? Secondly, how do you know he's in the boot? Like, could you be more obvious? She was just like, my husband's in the boot, get my husband out of the boot. Like, it's a garage. What could have happened was he could have just been driving, and then like, I'm just trying to think of something. Hypothetically speaking, he could have just been driving into the garage, something, shayisu petrol or whatever. Like, what makes you think usase bootini from the driver's seat to the boots? Guys, no. And as a hopeful, like, as a wife, you're just expected to be hopeful. Like, I do not, like, there's no way for me to actually identify this car. There's no way for me to know. Maybe he was just inside the garage and what makes you not be hopeful? Like, from the get-go. What? No, guys. No. Doesn't make up because why am I still on my brows? Why? let's talk about that right now. Like, aside tracking and talk about why I'm still doing my brows. But yeah, you guys. She was just that obvious, and obviously there were like people around and they thought it was weird, and so did the firefighters. They were also just like, what? But because it was a pressing matter, obviously like shayo and someone is suspected to be inside, percent lokuthi where inside the car is the person, or if there really is somebody inside. Yeah, they were just like, okay, let's just like asicishe umlilo sibone ukuthi kwenzakalani. So yeah, they do actually find him in the boot of the car, and he's just like I said, he was charred, and DNA testing had to help confirm that it's actually him. Okay, fine. And then Arnold, right? Because now we're saying everybody's story. So I just told you, Guzi, what was Muraro's recollection of what happened, and then Tabuzeni also, he's also saying what happened. But please note, both of them do not say any details of like the murder itself. We would say this is what was done to him, and then yeah, well, this is what led to him being in the boot and being burnt. But Arnold Selo also, hey, it's about to get explicit. It's about to get actually just like heartbreaking, because who does that? But yeah, so apparently Arnold, oh, these brows fine. So Arnold Diana, when he got to, he also confessed, and then he says him and his 3 friends, as well as a driver from Soweto, ababehamba naye in a venture, basuka eSoweto, I guess bahamba ke baya he was on in Mulder's Drift. Yeah. So baya lapho ke bamthole eGaraji, and apparently Uschaba and Rodney, let me just double check my notes. Yeah, I'm right. Uschaba and Rodney had bamshaya ngestin ekhanda. Ngeyitin ekhanda abatakali bamshaya ngeyitin bamlimaza, and then Uschaba got rope and then tied his hands and legs, and then while that was happening, Uschaba took some rope and then tied abatakali's arms and legs, and then while that was happening, Arnold went and took his phone and took his wallet as well. And then Uschaba carried on and put him in the boots. While he was being put in the boots, Rodney rocked up with a 5 liter of petrol from eventually rocked up with a 5 liter of petrol and poured it everywhere. Mind you, during this time, Abatakali was actually still alive, and Bafago Petroli and set the car alight while he was still alive, and he started screaming. And instead of like, like sometimes Brahma wins in, we are no, actually, yeah, talent. So like, who was just like, no, you guys. And instead of that, Mashudu, which is another one of the friends that were there, Umashudu actually was just screaming at him for his pin. Yeah, his card, like a bank pin. Was screaming at him for the pin, and obviously in hopes that Bazobano Shwele, he gave, Abatakali gave them his pin. Bamshiya lapho esha, bahamba baya garage bayokhipha imali. Ngikhiphe imali, Mashudu gives the driver Sechaba and Rodney 500 rand. I don't know if it's 500 rand each or 500 rand or what, but then they get driven to a supermarket, and that's that. So yeah, Arnold's confession was so much more detailed, and I guess it gives the impression Yoguti he was the one who was hired to do the dirty work actually, and Umuraro as well as Ntabuteni were just the guys behind all of that. Okay, well, that happened, and then they were all taken into custody and by admit. So Umuraro was the last one to be taken into custody, and basically amaphoyisa had gotten Arnold and Dabuteni, and they knew ukuthi umuraro has something to do with this, but they were like, asilindeni umngcwabo sibone ukuthi kwenzakalani. I think it was in hopes ukuthi maybe she's gonna like uzoshawa guilt yabo during this whole period yomngcwabo, uzoshawa guilt ahambe ayoyiceba or something, I don't know. Or like I don't know what the police actually expected out of waiting it out, but they did. And then afterwards, apparently emngcwabeni uGeli kwakubukwa yena waye memeza ekhala ngaphezu kwawo wonke umuntu, and like, you know, the family had already known that she had something to do with it because the police told them, and it's just like, no, you know, like you just because like, why are you ruining like literally our last goodbye to ingane yethu as the parents, ingane yasekhaya as the siblings, you know? It's just like slow never nah. But yeah, so apparently this is her fault, and she had sent, after the funeral, she had sent father-in-law a message saying I wouldn't have gone through this without you. And then came the sketchy part of that SMS, and then she's like look, girl, she's like, no, something along the lines of izinto zomhlaba are going to make basically she was saying izinto zomhlaba are going to make Christians do bad things. And it's like, ziphi izinto zomhlaba? Which Christians? What bad things? How is this an appropriate message to send to a grieving father? How is that something you're thinking of right now, you know? So like it was just taken as if okay? And she was like, the question is, do you trust me? And it's like, yeah, nah, you trusting in Apila. And it was just weird that she would send that, and at that time as well. And it's just like, no, what does this mean? Why? So everybody was just like, no, yabolo, ushawa into yakhe lona, and usenqena nje ukusho ukuthi yeah, no, it was me, you know. So that was taken into evidence as also a confession on top of the confession she made the time she was taken into custody. So apparently when she was taken into custody, she waived her rights to when you have the right to remain silent. She waived her right to remain silent, and she also waived her rights to an attorney. So she just started singing, wazish, not knowing that she's incriminating herself, because if she had an attorney, the attorney would have been like, don't say anything in because you might incriminate yourself. So that I could tell you what you're saying is going to incriminate you, which she incriminated herself, because she literally confessed to knowing that he was going to die. She knew, dude. Okay, fine. On top of that, she just like, hi. The part where she just led Umamezalawake and her Usquiz to literally the garage, and then started being like, my husband's in the booth. That's also just like, how did you know? You know, like there's Haribo, no, there's a lot going against her. And then she was like, her confession should be taken out because it shouldn't be considered, because apparently she was tortured by the police. And it's like, but doctors were like, if you were being tortured, there would be evidence, like physical evidence that a doctor could see you were being tortured. And then she's like, no, but look at my wrist. And doctors were like, you were in handcuffs, sweetie. What did you expect to happen? You were in handcuffs. That's yeah, guys. So that was thrown off because it made no sense. But yeah, guys. Yeah, and then when it came time for sentencing, families kind of like take the stand and do say, we see how has the crime affected them. Kind of like the judge sindayo, because of, on top of the crime that they've made, they've also sort of affected people negatively. Yeah. So umama wafika umaga abatakal wafika washo understand ukuthi she's kind of lost her identity now, because now ufirstborn wakhe akasekho, and ukuthi like ufirstborn kuba like umaga Amanda, yabo umaga your child, you know? Yeah, and now she's just like, I accept Leo when everybody like thinks of her, it's just like umama who had to go through this tragedy, you know, rather than being umaga abatakal. On top of having a child that was so accomplished that everybody in the community was proud of, it's like ilosi ya wonke umuntu, you know? Yeah, and then the dad also said, Uzi, I cannot confirm whether he said this in court or he said this to an attorney or to a reporter. I can't confirm that, but he also said njalo mebona iphole emhlophe nje ucabanga ingane yakhe, you guys, and it's like, yo, for 4,000 rand, ha, I just feel like, yo, ngeke ishiye ingane yami ubuletsi ungicela imali ngizokunika, I'll find a way, ha. No, you guys, I just feel like honestly it just wasn't worth it, and like they deserve he if it was possible for them to get worse than what they got, they honestly high ball. But okay, yeah, so when the sentencing came, basically when the sentencing came, Wonkumutu, Arnold, as well as actually weird enough, Mashuru, Rodney, as well as this child, they just iphelele emoyeni indaba yabo. Why? So this happened way back in 2006. I don't know if like questioning why iphelele emoyeni indaba yabo is gonna make any difference, but like why? Because like, is it because so many people were lying, ukuthi like maybe they thought ukuthi Arnold was lying ngokufaka abangani bakhe and that getaway driver into the story? It just seemed so like uchaze yonke into, yes, and it's like, then how come the people that he sort of mentioned in his confession, why bona bengaboshwanga? My question is that why bengaboshwanga? I'm not saying ukuthi like khona bengadeserve ukuboshwa kulaba ababoshiwe. I'm just saying like more should be added, basically, like, because they also deserve some time. But it's get like moving on. Muraro, Arnold, as well as Ntabuteni, they got life imprisonment for the murder, as well as 5 years for kidnapping and 3 years for aggravated. Actually 3 years for malicious damage to property. Yeah. So it's to life is 25 and then 5 for the kidnapping and then 3. So it's like 33 years in prison, and I just feel like, oh man. Yo, I really do, honestly. And it's Bindi. Oh, Muraro actually tried to appeal her conviction by saying Uzi, she wasn't there when the murder happened. And it's like, sweetie, it wouldn't have happened without you. Like, none of it. Like, yonke tiqala ngawe. It's Bindi, you guys. It's Bindi to even like bring this back up, and like abazali abatakale, how the hell would they feel during the whole time waiting to see if she's going to be released again? Because honestly, like the best they got was justice, and now she's just trying to like be like, no, cut off that justice. I want to be out because I wasn't there. And it's like, bruh, you literally knew he was gonna get killed that day, and throughout the day you did nothing to stop it from happening. No. So luckily, okay, she got denied. Yeah, and she's back. She's back where she belongs, which is jail. Yeah. So sorry for not being able to finish up my makeup. I was too held up in the story, and yeah, man. That was a lot, actually. So if anybody actually like go 2006, they were like fully aware and alive, and were sort of like following the case. Please let me know if there's anything that I missed. If there's anything you can add to the story, please do add in the comment section. If maybe you're from that village, from the villages that Muralo as well as Abatakali are from, and maybe you know the family, and maybe you have just something to add, please do. If you have something to correct, please do correct it down below. And if anybody wants to suggest my next story, please do suggest the story, and maybe my next video will be something that you suggested. Ow! Oh, maybe my next video will be something that you suggested. Yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see each other next week. Bye.